Comfort is killing your future, and you probably don't even realize it. It feels safe. It feels earned. It even feels like peace. But what if I told you the very thing you call comfort is the exact reason you're not where you're supposed to be? So the real question is, are you building a life or slowly settling into one?
The Mindset Manual with Myron Williams.
See, comfort doesn't destroy you overnight. It doesn't come loud. It doesn't come aggressive. It comes quietly. It convinces you to wait, to settle, to stop pushing just a little bit earlier than you should. And before you know it, you're stuck living a life that's far below your potential because just comfortable enough to never answer that question. So the real question is, are you building a life or slowly settling into one? Welcome to the Mindset Manual, where we don't just talk about growth, we confront the habits that quietly are holding you back. I'm Myron, entrepreneur, father, and student of life. And today we're exposing the truth about comfort and why it might be the very thing destroying your potential. This is episode 4 of my 8-part series on the harsh truths about success. I want you to follow me on this journey of my real life's experiences by hitting that like and subscribe button right now. I would truly appreciate that. Comfort convinces you there's no urgency. It tells you to start tomorrow, next week, or next year. But time keeps moving. Growth requires pressure and challenge. So as you move forward from this, I really want you to sit and think about this story that I'm about to tell you. It's a real life situation that happened to me, and I want to share it with you. So before I start the story, I want you to think about this. Where in your life have you chosen to be comfortable over growth? That's a big question. Where have you chosen to be comfortable over growth? So I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. You know, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I've done many businesses. I've ran many different types of businesses. I've always had that entrepreneur style since I was a kid, 16 years old. All I ever wanted to be was a businessman. That's all I talked about when I was little. I'm going to be a businessman. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs. My dad had a gas station and my mom was a hairstylist. So they instilled that entrepreneurial drive into me at a very young age. I think I was like 16. I had a lawn service and a mobile detailing service at the same time. So I would cut your grass and I would also wash your car after I finished cutting your grass. And, you know, I had a couple of friends that joined me. I was doing very well with that. So that's just an example of how long I've been doing this entrepreneurial thing. I'm 50 now, and I've started, like I said, many businesses. And if you listen to some of my stories on this podcast, you'll see some of the different things I talk about, some of the different ventures I've been into, successful ventures and some not so successful, but I kept going. I never got comfortable with a loss or a win. I always just kept moving and kept going. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's just being comfortable and not reaching your full potential. And it happens to the best of us. You know, you could be doing well in your job or in a great position on your job and decide that, well, I'm in a good position. I'm not going to try to work harder and advance. You know, why not? You have, you know, breath in your lungs and your feet work, your legs work, your mind works, you know, keep advancing. Now, if you're making 7 figures or, you know, or more a year and you're just, you know, very content being the boss of where you are, you know, that's fine. You can be comfortable in that. But if you're in a grind set mind state where you're like, I'm not making enough, you're barely going check to check, or, you know, have a few checks stacked up, but any little mistake or misstep in life could set you all the way back. You can't be in that comfort zone. You always got to be thinking ahead. Now, I'm not saying to be out of control and not having any peace and balance in your life. I'm just saying you need to be trying to move forward. You can't just sit around and say, well, I'm making X amount of dollars an hour, so that's good for my field, and I'm just going to ride with that. No, that's not the way to do it. You need to be pursuing leveling up every way. If say you have a business and your business is doing okay, you have maybe just say a barbershop. Let's just say something simple, or a beauty shop. You have that. And it's just you and one or two employees in that barbershop or beauty shop, right? But you guys are busy. You're always busy. Why not expand, open up more booths for your barbers or your beauticians so you can have more paying you booth rent? If that's maxed out, why not open a second location? Why stick to that first location when you can have multiple locations going at the same time and have additional revenue coming in off of less work from you? So that's getting outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, your business is doing well, but why not move to another level by opening up more, bringing in more people, and getting outside of your comfort zone and seeing the benefits that can come from that? I remember probably 18, 20 years ago, I had a tax, accounting, and bookkeeping business. That's what I went to college for, was accounting and bookkeeping. So it was kind of a passion of mine. So I started a firm. It was before the Great Recession back in the Bush era where everything went to crashing and stuff like that. But I had this firm and it was doing well. It was doing really well. And to the point that I had opened up multiple locations, like 3 locations. And I was still aggressive in my mind, like, oh, I'm really doing well. I have, around 15 employees, I think at that time, around 15 employees, and the business was doing well. And I was looking at other opportunities, right? But, because the business was doing well, but I was in a relationship and she was kind of on my back about how much time I was spending, between the locations and things like that. And I was saying, well, I'm going to be spending a little bit more time in between the locations because I plan on opening up 2 more locations next year. And I've, have found the locations. And so for me, I had the aggression and the desire and the drive to open up more locations. But the person that was my significant other, she was kind of holding me back. She was comfortable. We had a nice house. We had nice cars. We did a lot of nice things and went to events and travel. So she was comfortable where we were. Mind you, I was 30 years old at the time. I'm 50 now. I was 30, and there's no way I was going to be comfortable at 30, just, making what we were making, which was cool. We had a nice house, a nice neighborhood and stuff like that. But it was still an opportunity for me to get to another level. And she didn't want to get to that level. She wanted to stay in the level that we were. So sometimes the person that's with you can be comfortable and you're not, but that creates conflict in your household. And that's a tricky situation when you want to go forward, but the person you're with is good right here, but you want to go up, but they're good right here. It's going to create conflict, and it's a hard thing to handle. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist, so I can't give you advice on how to handle that, but you have to dig deep, have conversations with them like I did with her. She was very strong about her feelings about me not growing, stuck with it for a while, for us just staying in that comfort zone with her and just trying to enjoy life with her. But when that relationship was over, the first thing I did was open up. Instead of 2 more locations, I opened up 3 or 4 more locations. And that 3 or 4 turned to 10, which turned to eventually 15 locations at one time because I didn't have that person with me anymore to keep me in that comfort zone. Now I was all about pursuing my dreams and going to the next level. And that has to be you. You have to step outside your comfort zone if you really want to get to the next level. If you see that person over there doing well and you're like, wow, they're riding in this nice car, or they have this nice house, or they're doing this, or you're at the basketball game or the football game, you see them, at the lower seats or on the floor or on the field or whatever. And you're wondering like, how did they get there? Maybe those people are working really hard. They step outside of their comforts to get to that level. And that's what you have to do. Step outside your comfort zone if you want to get to that level. I've done it and I continue to do it. Even though I'm successful where I am right now, I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to help people level up. I'm not comfortable enough to just sit here and say, well, I'm not going to do more. I've made my success. I've done businesses and been successful. I'm not going to keep it to myself, stepping outside of my comfort zone, sharing it with people like yourself so you can level up and you can get to the place like someone like me. That's me stepping out of my comfort zone. I don't have to do that. I'm very comfortable where I am, but I want to do more. I want other people to come up and see, learn from someone like me who's been a lifetime entrepreneur. So when you're trying to build a business, if you're thinking about building a business, I should say, there's going to be some discomfort, both thinking about it, because now you're like, I don't know if I want to leave my job and do this. Or if you've just started a business, you're going to have those days where you're like, I shouldn't have left my job. I should have just kept my job. You want to quit. I want to be honest. I've had at least 10 businesses over the last 30 years, at least 10 different businesses. And most of them were successful. I'll say maybe 2 of them didn't do well, but most of the other ones did very well. But I will say out of all those businesses, not a single one of those businesses that I did not want to give up at some point because it was hard or, something didn't go right or I lost some money on this or whatnot. So I've always had a moment where like, man, I want to give up. This is not going to work. But you can't. You got to keep going. You keep going. You can't go back to, oh, I'm just going to go back to my comfort job and do that again. And I'll just keep doing that till I die. You got to step away from that. I know it feels comfortable, but it doesn't get you outside of the box. It doesn't get you that bigger house that you want. It doesn't get you that vacation across the world that you want to take. It doesn't get your kids in that private school that you want to do, or that yacht that you wanted to buy, or a boat or whatever. It doesn't get you there because you're stuck in your comfort zone, and you have to get out of your comfort zone to get those things and achieve greatness and bigger things. Starting a business is hard. There's going to be a lot. You're going to be way out of your comfort zone. You're going to, there's no sleep pattern. There's no consistent schedule when you're running a business. There's going to be a lot of things that affect your comfort, but it's time to get uncomfortable to be successful. And that's very important in this business, or in this mindset. You have to get uncomfortable to get to the next level of being comfortable. And it takes work. It takes discipline. The motivation when you first start a business, yeah, you're super motivated. But when you start losing clients or the marketing isn't going well, then it gets uncomfortable. But you have to keep going. The discipline to keep going will get you to a level where you will grow and be like, okay, I can take some days off. I can take that vacation now because now I'm doing well. Yeah. So I'll tell you another story about wasn't my story as a friend of mine, but it involved me because he ended up staying at my house during this uncomfortable period for him. He had a job offer in the city where I am. And, he was like, man, I love my city where I am. And, I got my family here, my kids are in schools and all of this stuff, but, I don't want to leave here, but I'm like, hey man, the money that they're offering you is significantly more than what you're making right now. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to get a position like this to open up in your field. Let's just say I don't want to put his business out there. He was making, 120,000 a year at that time. Well, the job that they were offering was for 220,000 for the same work. I mean, he would level up a little bit and have some teammates up under him, but it was a significant amount of money, and he was like about to not accept that because it was going to be a big transition. He was going to get way out of his comfort zone. His family was going to have to stay where they were for a while so the kids could finish up, that year in school. His wife worked somewhere. She will have to find a new position. They will have to find a new house and all of that. So it's going to be an uncomfortable period. But the leveling up process of taking that chance was so great. I'm like, you cannot pass this up. So I let him come stay in my home with me and my family till he can find the right place for him and get settled and learn the city and things like that. because he needed to get out of that comfort zone. And I gave him some comfort by giving him a place to stay, a safe place to stay with somebody that he knows and trusts, and he could still, have the family around him. But that's another situation where I'm saying people let opportunities pass them by because they don't want to get outside their comfort zone. Even for more money, they don't want to get outside of their comfort zone. And that's a mistake. That's a big mistake. Opportunities are out there, and it's those that go and take those chances and get outside their comfort zone. Those are the people that actually do well. So, you have to think about all these things. It's your life. And when opportunities come, you have to step outside of that comfort zone so you can grow and get to the next level. So, that was just one of the stories, but it's many, many opportunities, or many, I should say, that was just one of the stories, but there's, I have a ton of different stories I could tell you about, comfort and, some of my friends not wanting to get out of their comfort zone. I've offered them opportunities to start businesses. I would help them start a business and partner with them and mentor them and help them get to the level, but they didn't want to, leave their comfort zone of their job. They didn't want to, get off the insurance from the job or get off the pension or whatever it was that doesn't come with being an entrepreneur. They didn't want to, pursue it, even though they had the skills to run their own tech business or run their own, computer business or run their own, car business or whatever. They had the skill set to do it, but they just weren't willing to go out on a limb to do it. So it's just life, man. You just have to just step outside of your comfort zone, because that's what's holding you back. You sit back and think about, all the chances that you had that you didn't pursue. What was it? What was the true reason that you didn't pursue it? What was it? Was it comfort? What was it? Most of the time it is you don't want to step out of your comfort zone. So as you move forward from this, I really do want you to think about this question. Where in your life have you chosen comfort over growth? Because comfort will protect you today. It will keep things easy, predictable, safe, but over time, it starts to cost you. It costs you discipline. It costs you momentum. And eventually, it costs you the life you are capable of living. So don't just chase what feels good. Start chasing what makes you better. Because at the end of the day, comfort protects today, but it can quietly steal tomorrow. If this message hits you hard, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it. And as always, I thank you for tuning in to the Mindset Manual with me, Myron Williams. Stay balanced, stay focused, and keep practicing that emotional intelligence.
The Mindset Manual with Myron Williams.